white ship. She was one of the fastest vessels that was ever built. The man who should be king of the English now, the son of King Henry, was on board when she sailed off. And with the prince there were 140 knights and many nobles, all on their way from Normandy to England. They say the ship hit the rocks, and then a fire broke out. Even before the white ship had departed, the prince and his men had begun to drink and get violent. Monks that were meant to bless the voyage were then forced to disembark. Some say the ship had been cursed. The king's son and many of his family were pulled down into the Black Sea that night.
You're forgetting one important detail. Not only these monks, but also Stephen of Blois, the king's nephew, left the ship before it embarked. They say he got ill.
That old rumor.
The same Stephen who calls himself the King of the English now.
What? That cannot be a coincidence.
Yes, it can be. Of course he's king now. He survived. He is the king's nephew.
What do you think,
I think Stephen is a clever man. Clever enough to have his whole family perish. But why he would want to rule that godforsaken rock, I will never understand.
What makes you say that? I love my country.
Then why are you leaving?
Well, because I want to see something new.
I'll tell you what you're going to see. A proper country, where people know how to behave.
What about you? Why are you leaving?
I'm looking for someone.
For who? I guess I should stay out of other people's business. Forgive me.
You English do talk a lot, don't you?
I just don't know how to feel about leaving my country for the first time. I mean, how should anyone feel?
Hopeful?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just running away.
You should all get some rest. It will not be long now till we reach Cherbourg.
Thank the Lord. I can't wait to be back.
In the late summer of 1142, I had left my home country, England, for good. My old life lay in shambles, as did my former home of Kingsbridge. Having failed both my friends and family, I had set out to find my baby's father, the man I still loved with all my heart, Jack Jackson. And so early one morning in July, I finally arrived on the shores of Normandy. With nothing on me but a pouch of coin and a young, curious face yet unnamed, who was just as unfamiliar to this new world as was I. You're still here?
Oh, I'm just trying to get my feet used to... The last bit of our voyage wasn't exactly my pint of ale.
I'm looking for someone. A red-haired mason. He came to France about a year ago or so.
A fellow mason, great. Unfortunately, I wouldn't know a thing, after all.
I know, but should you tell him Aliena of Shiring is looking for him?
All right. Jack Jackson. I'll keep an eye...
Thank you. That hammer you're carrying, do you...
Actually, I am.
I guess I just know him.
To be honest, I haven't been one long. Just finished my apprenticeship, and before that, I used to shear sheep with my parents. But I guess that father still hates me for leaving, though. Scary, isn't it?
Well, you definitely said...
Oh, I am excited. Wouldn't anyone...
I don't know. What will you...
Don't know. All I heard was that the wages are better over here. Right. And a fellow mason told me about the abbey. He said these Normans build their churches quite differently than we do back home. I need to see that with my own eyes. I dunno. The mason who told me just happened to do some repairs there once. It's likely he told others.
Oh, good day. I am looking for someone. A traveler who came through here last summer. Oh, hush now. I need to talk to this man.
Looks young.
He was born at the beginning of summer.
What's his name?
I haven't given him one yet.
You should. He needs to know who he is. Makes growing up a lot easier. You said you're looking for someone.
The man I'm looking for looks a bit like you, actually. A bit more boyish, though.
So he has red hair, but no beard. Well, I don't know every redhead around these parts. There are quite a few of us. Most of my family here in Cherbourg is ginger.
Oh, his name is Jack Jackson, and he is a mason.
No. No, sorry. I haven't seen him. And I come here every day. Maybe Amay saw him. She helps the sailors get their cargo to the nearby town.
I'll ask her.
Hey, you. That's quite a bundle you got there. Where are you headed?
Have you seen a red-haired mason?
Another ginger in Normandy? I wouldn't have noticed, even if he was carrying a hammer instead of a fishing rod. Maybe you should ask someone in Barfleur. That's where all the travellers come through, the Their lot rarely lands in Cherbourg, with the fortress passing back and forth between Stephen of Blois and Geoffrey of Anjou. Why you even came to Cherbourg in the first place baffles me.
It was the earliest ship I could get.
It must be in some
Let's just say I needed to get away before...
Fine with me. Who am I to...
Do you know the...
Been there, but I hope you're not planning to go. Tell you what, you give me... You can even change your destination once we're on the road. What'd you say?
What other routes are there, besides...
Oh, I don't know, really. But Barfleur sounds like a good place. Shake my hand and I'll...
All right.
All right. Where do you need to be?
Lessay was tiny, but as it turned out, worth the trip. In the small Abbey Church of the Trinity, I lay down to sleep on the floor of the Abbey guest house, and for the first time in almost a year, I felt relief. As I drifted into sleep, My father had once told me tales of the Mont Saint-Michel. Long ago, the Archangel Michael had urged Hubert of Avranches to build an abbey on a lonely rock on the ocean by burning a hole into his head. It was a windy day when I arrived, and the place was crowded with pilgrims and jongleurs. I remembered Jack's fascination with these tellers of stories. I spoke to one who was just taking a break. As it happened, he had. Apparently, Jack had been hopelessly tracking jongleur who might have known his father, Jack Cherbourg. But as he'd been gradually running out of money, he'd intended to look for work in Le Mans or Tours. That was about 6. Good day. Are you the ma-
What is it?
I'm looking for a mason, an Englishman with carroty hair.
A redhead?
Yes. Did you see him?
No, I'm not looking for new masons. We're just doing repair.
Ah, but was he here?
No, never seen him. Now, stand back, woman. Something could fall on your back.
May I talk to your work?
No, they're busy. And I can assure you,
Perhaps I'll talk to them once they've finished for the day.
it would be a waste of...
You hesitated when I'm... Are you sure you haven't seen...
Yes.
Are there...
Well, yeah.
And where would an outside...
Dunno. All right, he was here. Was working for me. But I had to throw him out after 2 or 3 days.
Why?
Because he was all want. Let me redesign the roof, let me make the nave lighter. All pretty ideas, but he never shut up long enough to do the work he was supposed to do. Shit, that man was almost as needy as my son when he was still a brat.
He does know a lot about his craft.
Well, I know masons like him. They can't work with someone like that.
Do you know where he went next?
No idea. Maybe to Limoges or Angoulême. Seemed to have plans for every cathedral on God's green earth, but none for himself.
I'll leave you...
Bon voyage.
We had just left Tours when I suddenly felt dizzy. To my horror, our baby too had grown pale. Back in Tours, the fever got worse. I remember people carrying me into a room, laying... When I awoke, Jack was standing next to my bed. He scolded me for following him. "You know you could go anywhere you want," he whispered. "Why be..." I tried to answer, but he just opened the window and jumped out, heading toward a... The further I went, the angrier I got. For years, I'd been fighting for my family. I'd committed myself to an oath to my father. I'd built up a business to sustain it and even married a man I despised. I'd known nothing but my duty to the men in my life, while the man I was trying to find lived a life of casual irresponsibility. He traveled the world on a whim to learn about mathematics and philosophy, while I had to raise the child he'd... When could I ever do anything just for myself? I asked. I'd traveled in a circle all the way to the edge of the world and back, only to return to the place of our failure. With my eyes closed, I listened to the sound of ripping yarn and crumbling walls, and of coaches carrying good people away. When the last moat had settled, I opened my eyes again and found myself in a dirty little room. Oh, dear God, he still... I tried to feed him, but he refused. Oh, please, God, let him live. I gently caressed his head until finally he put his mouth to my breast, and we had both been spared. We rested. I thank you, dear Lord.
All right, steady
I
now.
thank you for... But why are you showing mercy on me? I failed Jack. I failed my brother. And if... It's just that I feel like I've never had a... I've always fought for others. And this may be the very first time that I fight for something that I only want for my... Maybe I should just go back and help rebuild Kingsbridge. Maybe Jack doesn't even care? Amen. Huh. I've seen one of those before.
It's amazing, isn't it? The man who did that really had it in him.
I agree. He always did.
Oh, you knew Master Jacques.
Yes, but it's been a while since I last saw him.
It's a shame that the Master let him go. In just 1 month, he did so many things.
What did he do?
He came up with ideas for how to make the construction easier. But the Master didn't want to hear it. To tell you the truth, everyone thinks that he feared for his own job, having someone like the last thing Jack did was carve. It was the one thing the Master let him do. Then when he was done, he was asked to leave.
Your master said he had no discipline.
Let me tell you something. Jacques worked very hard on it. He was impatient and had a temper, but you could see that he tried to overcome it. Conquering that rock was very important to him.
Oh, I understand that so well. Do you happen to know where he went next?
He wanted to walk the pilgrim trail to Santiago de Compostela.
The Camino? The Way of St. James?
He said he might find someone there who knew his father.
Just one more thing. How was he when...
Relieved. He seemed ready for some...
Thank you so much for your...
Think nothing. And good luck on your travels.
Isn't it odd? Just when you stop looking, you come across the most curious of things. Like these 3 devices that one of my merchants brought back from Baghdad.
Oh no. Is it another one of your Banu Musa toys, Rashid?
They're not toys, Adriel. They're objects of scholarly ingenuity and reflection.
I will let my valued friend from the north do the honors. Jack, if you may. For one, let me draw your attention to the magnificent songbird on the table. And then to that wondrous donkey next to the entrance. Although the most astounding thing of all stands right between them.
That statuette.
Ha-ha, precisely.
And now?
Now, Jack, but one thing at a time. Let us let Jack decide what to demonstrate first. It's so beautiful it will make you cry. Just listen.
But how marvelous!
How does it...
Maybe it's a miracle.
Right.
Go on, Jack.
There's a hidden wheel inside the box. It turns an axle that in return raises and drops a sequence of small cylinders inside. These cylinders work like fingers playing a flute.
But who is blowing into the flute?
Steam.
Steam?
Yes. When I opened the pipe, it gradually pushed itself into the tube.
The power of steam. For once, I must agree, this is brilliant.
Of course! It was created by a Muslim.
Let's not get ahead. What else have...
Anyone care for some tea?
Thank you, my daughter. We will have some.
Mind if I watch?
Of course.
So, who is this man, Rashid?
Jack is a friend of the house. A brilliant man, a scholar and a talented artist.
I could watch this man scoop up water.
Just the other day, he explained Euclid to me.
What is that?
Now, watch the head. Just any moment now. There. Did you see?
It threw up.
Rashid, this awful. Would you kindly explain?
You see that bowl floating on top of the water? At the bottom of that bowl is a small hole. Through it, the bowl is slowly filled with liquid. Once it's full, it sinks, pulling a string which makes the ball drop onto a well. This, in return, pulls the bowl up again.
Thus resetting the entire
If you timed it perfectly, you could make it drop a ball at
Turning it into a clock.
How clever.
For me, it's still nothing more than a puking...
Show.
One could join those two and build a singing donkey clock. One song after every hour.
That would be pretty clever.
I know, right? You could be the one to build it.
Oh, that would be unfair. It's your...
I would let you have it. Or we design...
You still haven't shown us that statuette yet.
Of course, Jack. A Greek who wrote a book called
Don't let me
The
distract
Elements
you, Jack.
of Geometry. The Egyptians translated it into Arabic, and now the Englishmen are turning it into Latin. Oh, you will love.
How very peculiar.
And now?
Just be patient, but don't look away. It takes some...
To do what?
Is it crying?
Isn't that amazing?
No, it's irritating. Rashid.
We have no idea.
Rashid, please.
We all know that there is no such...
And this piece of wood is very clearly made by...
I very much agree, my friends. But so far...
All we know for certain is that her glassy eyes shed tears when you move her from warmth into cold.
Like a plant at sunrise. Like dew. The only difference is the surface. That's all.
I think you may be on to...
Am I? Of course, I had no... But if you can find out why there's dew gathering on a plant, you may... So, who wants a cup of tea?
I'll have some.
Your daughter is quite something, Rashid. A scholar in her own right.
I know. I'd rather she wasn't. It would make marrying her off so much easier.
Oh, I'm certain that won't stay a problem.
Maybe the dew originates from invisible water, water that stays hidden when it's hot.
The pilgrim trails across France converged at Osterbat in the foothills of the Pyrenees. There, the group of 20 or so pilgrims who had been travelling alongside me since I'd left Tours swelled to about 70. Some were prosperous citizens, some probably on the run from justice, a few drunks and several monks and clergymen. Several languages were spoken, including Flemish, a German tongue, and a southern French language called Oc. Nevertheless, there was no lack of communication among them, and as we crossed the Pyrenees, they sang, played games, told stories, while my baby and I kept mostly to ourselves.
Ganz schön frech, die mit ihrem Kind.
Hush now.
Richtig dreist. Kann ein Mann nicht einfach mal seine Ruhe haben? Der Weg aus Babenberg war doch anstrengend genug.
Dear Lord, what are you doing? You should get out of the water.
My ring! I lost my ring! Dear Lord, please show mercy. Come back to me. Please come back to me. Where are you? Where did you go?
The cold.
I can't.
I found it.
Yes! Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You are a very kind woman. So very, very kind.
I'm glad I could help.
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Are you getting warmer?
I am, thank you.
I can see this ring is very precious to you.
It was a gift from my stepmother. She thought I would stay forever, but I didn't.
Why did you leave?
Oh, I thought I didn't belong. She always said I was her daughter, but I was sure she was lying. I was so selfish and so stupid. Too stupid to see I really was happy.
Maybe you really weren't happy.
I don't know. I was very young and thought I was unhappy because I didn't live close to the sea. But in the end, the sea did not feel the same about me. The cold there made me sick. It took away my sight.
Why didn't you go back?
She had been so angry when I left. So angry and disappointed. She would have never let me return.
Ah, that's...
Yes. So that St. James might see I'm just not as kind as you.
You're too hard on yourself.
I don't know.
I, too, am trying to make amends. with the one man I loved the most. I was told he went straight to Santiago.
You will know soon.
Not soon enough. It's still 4 weeks till I get there.
He'll be there, I'm sure.
I hope so. I just feel that with every day that passes, I'm losing him a bit, and that the only thing I can allow myself still to hope for is not love, but forgiveness. Hey, hush now. Not long now, and our journey will be over, The woman's name was Alba. She came from a small town somewhere in Catalonia. I quickly got used to her. I wasn't sure if she appreciated my company, but I couldn't leave her on her own either. By the time we reached Los Arcos, she'd stopped talking, while I kept on dropping a kind word. Alba believed herself to be of weak mind and body, and yet she walked the Camino with a strong sense of purpose that willed her onward. It made me wonder about what was there to forgive. My decision to marry Alfred had been in the best interest of the people of Shiring. Around Lyon, the path began to gradually turn uphill. It was only 2 more weeks till we'd reached Santiago. The baby. After Astorga, the trail got more difficult. Alba became slower and slower, and we had to rest more. She became quiet again. The strain on her old body grew, and she worried that she might not be. The next morning, she refused to get up. Her breathing was disturbingly. Of course, I stayed with her. I brought her food and water and sat by her side. But day after day, her condition grew worse. I'd hardly known her, and most of the time she'd tried to push me away, as if she considered herself a nuisance that slowed me down and who didn't deserve. It wasn't until a few moments before she died that, for the first time, I still like to believe that here, in this unlikely place, dying next to a near stranger, she'd found a moment. When I left, that thought still haunted me. To see that a journey could come to an end so suddenly. But what would be different if she had reached Santiago? Could she have been disappointed by what she found? After months of hard travel, the child and I finally reached Santiago de Compostela. In the evening, we attended Mass in the great cathedral, then It was almost dawn when finally a priest pointed me to... Buenos días.
Sinto cho ben, pero non temos camas de...
No. I was told a friend of mine stayed here. A red-haired Englishman.
Eu só che falo en galego, miña rula.
Français?
Oh, que cousiña. Eche rubio.
Sí, redhead. Have you seen his father, Padre del Niño? Jack Builder?
Ven sendo un peregrino?
What?
É un peregrino.
Oh, he's not a pilgrim.
Entón, quen ven sendo?
He's a mason.
¡Ay, mal rayo, me partas en...
Let me show you. He's a mason. He builds things like that.
Ah, eche masón. Albanel.
Sí, a mason.
Por aquí pasan un... Non me poderías dicir...
Well, he's also very knowledgeable. The man I'm looking for loves to read.
Anda.
Sí.
Oín falar dun masón que dis que se dedica a traducir libros en Toledo.
Polo visto, di que se chama Jack.
Yes, Jack. Have you seen him?
Non sei cal será o seu apelido, pero ben é certo que non chai moitos masóns rubios aos que lles guste ler. Se tan desesperada está, por que non vai a Toledo a comprobalo por si mesmo?
Entón...
He went to Toledo.
A Toledo marchou?
Di que o teu Jack podería estar en Toledo.
All right. Gracias. I just pray. Buenos dias. Parlez-vous français? English?
Of course. How may I help you?
I was told a man named Jack Builder lives in this house.
Who told you this?
A group of scholars living at the edge of town. They said he used to translate old scriptures about mathematics before he moved here.
Please wait here. I will talk with Master Rashid.
It's him.
Oh, there you are. May I ask who let you stroll around our house?
I travelled hundreds of miles looking for a man called Jack Builder. A scholar told me that I would find...
Yes, my servant told me already. My father's not here at the moment, so you'll have to make do with me. Unfortunately, I must disappoint you. There's no one called Jack living in this...
He must be here.
What? Who allowed you inside my...
I didn't mean to be disrespectful of your hospitality.
I just hope for your sake you didn't... Every piece in there is precious to my father, even that slingshot. I'm sorry, but this is not easy for any of us. I think you should know that Jack and I are promised to each other. Maybe we should go and the sun's burning, and my mother doesn't need to hear us. Jack told me about you. You are Aliena. You're the one who rejected him and married. And now you want him back.
I'm sorry. It's not my intention to call...
He always said that he had come here to find out about his family. But instead, he found out about everything else. About philosophy, mathematics. When he and my father met, it was love at first sight. They studied together and made great plans. But in the end, Jack would always start talking about his cathedral again. Rib vaults and pointed windows. He'd ramble on about it for hours and stare up at that ceiling. We three sat here for hours and talked. And then in the evenings, it would be just the two of us. So many strange ideas about the future. Some barely more than silly dreams. Others almost in arm's reach.
He always had his head in the clouds.
Oh, yes. Well, he's not here anymore. My father had offered him work as a master builder here in Toledo. He would have been well off and free to spend his evenings under vaults like this, with me as his wife. But in the end, he refused. Tell me, did you really marry his stepbrother?
It was the hardest decision I ever made. But it also felt like a sacrifice I had to make to fulfill a promise I made to my father. It was all for nothing. I thought I had no choice. I didn't want to hurt him. Believe me.
I do. You know, he left me because of you. Even after all you did to him, he couldn't let go. You can be glad that you ran into me and not my mother. She was enraged when he left.
He can have that effect on people.
But apart from that, we made our peace with him. Father even gave him one of his favorite pieces of his collection as a parting gift. A small wooden statue with stone eyes in exchange for his slingshot.
Would you mind telling me where he went?
He went to Paris to work on the Cathedral of Saint-Denis. He said he never found out about his father, so there was no reason to stay down here anymore.
Paris?
Yes. If you find him there, tell him I don't miss him.
I am sorry for all this.
You don't have to be. What is the child's name, by the way?
Well, he has none yet. I wouldn't name him without Jack.
Isn't that a bit silly?
Maybe. But he's his son as well as mine. It's his right to have a say in it too.
Then off to Paris. That baby needs a name.
He will get one. Thank you. I travelled back along the Way of St. James, passing through Astorga, Lyon, and Burgos. I crossed the Pyrenees, revisiting Bordeaux, Angoulême, Poitiers, but never stayed longer than... If Jack really was there, what was I to say? pull him very, very close, wishing for all the... There. Are we awake then? You almost missed this. Look at these colourful windows. Look at the light.
Ali.
We came to see you, Jack.
We? Is he?
He is your son.
My son?
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. Ali, where do we go from here?
Wherever we go, I want to go with you.
Will you marry me? Both of you.
We will. We stayed in Paris as husband and wife. And our son, Tommy. The days went by quickly. Jack had learned much working as a builder in Saint-Denis. Days became months. Then after a year, we both grew restless. Where can we go from here, we asked ourselves again. We both confessed that we wanted to see our families, our friends. And then we knew where we wanted to go. Home. Even if it was in shambles.
We need to hurry. The ship to England will leave soon.
What's going on here?
Whatever it is, if the crowd doesn't clear up, we'll miss our ship. Excuse me.
He's a thief. He told us lies.
But isn't that just a
That poor man.
Do you see? It's working.
Your friend Rashid must be quite the miracle worker.
What's going on? The Holy Mother. She's crying.
Revere the Holy Mother, for she has blessed us with a sign from the heavens. Cease your doings right now and witness the miracle.
It's true. Lord in heaven.
Why is she She weeps for your sins. What has this man done to you that you would treat him like a wild animal?
He tricked us and took our coin.
And you would kill him for your own... The Holy Virgin weeps, for you are...
It is the Mother of God.
Forgive us. Where did she come from? She was given to me by a scholar in Toledo. We think she cries because...
Jack, don't!
It's a miracle!
A miracle? A miracle? Yes.
Listen to what he has to say. Tell us all.
Her destination is beyond these waters. There, King.
Where's the...
Make way for the Holy Virgin.
Hallelujah!
Make Robert well. Huh?
Blessed Mary, let my...
Give us a good...
They're donating to ask for her blessing.
Oh. The Weeping Madonna shall hear. And with your donations, I shall build her a new shrine at King...
It's you!
Who do you mean?
You! The red-haired god...
Me? A ghost?
My husband is very much alive. I've known him since he was 12 years old.
But he drowned. By God, you drowned. 24 years ago. On the white ship.
His name was Jacques.
Jacques Cherbourg.
Jack Cherbourg.